Hi, it's time for story time with Skoggit. This one's volume 9, and it's called $1 a Carload. Before I get started, like I do in every one of my story time videos, I take myself an ice cold Lone Star and I pour it in a glass. Because anytime you tell a story, of course, you got to have an ice cold Lone Star. Because nothing else ain't going to do. Got the Lone Star in the glass and fixing to tell the story. Back in like the early 1960s, my Uncle Leroy had a station wagon, which it had like the I don't really know what year model it was. I was young then. I must have been, oh, let's see, probably about 8, 9 years old, somewhere around there. But I remember it was like, I always called the station wagons, they're still in the crate, because they had the wood paneling on the side of the station wagon. And I believe it was maybe he had like a late 50s model of a station wagon. I don't know if it was a Ford, Chevrolet, or what, but I remember it was had a blue color to it, and it had the wood paneling on the side. Well, these drive-in theaters back in the day would have like $1 a carload, and you pay $1, and as many people as you could fit inside that car would be able to get in to watch the drive-in movie, the drive-in. If you're not familiar with drive-in movies, they were an outside movie what had a big screen to it. And what you did is you pulled in, and they had all these posts down in various locations, just down one side, first row, second row, third, fourth, and all the way to the back. And on these posts they had a speaker. The speaker was hung on the post with a wire to it, and all you guys what has lived in this era and has grown up with these know that everybody in their had one of those speakers at one time in their room. For some reason, it just was a tradition to cut one of those and take it with you. I had one, and it was just a fad back then where everybody had one for some strange reason. Anyway, they'd be on a pole, and they'd have a wire, and you put this on like your window. You roll down your window and put it on the window, and you'd have a volume control. And the volume, finding one what worked real good was like a needle in the haystack, because usually you turned it up real loud, it would have like a static rumble to it, and if you turned it down low, you couldn't hear it. And when you did hear it, it sounded like something like kind of like that. So you really didn't understand what the heck they were saying, unless you got a real clear one, which that was wasn't going to happen. Anyway, I remember my Uncle Leroy. He was a guy he wanted to break like a world record or something whenever he went to the $1 a carload night, which I don't know what night it was on, but anyway, it was $1 a carload. What he would do, he would get all the neighbors from the block around and ask them if, hey, I got $1 and we can go see 2 features, because they always had a double feature at these drive-in movies. And he would say, I got the $1 if y'all got the time, and we'll go. And I remember my mother would pop popcorn on the stove her and my uncle's wife would pop popcorn on the stove so we wouldn't have to buy it at the snack bar. And they would fill up these grocery sacks full. I mean, they'd pop like a bunch, put it in the grocery sacks. So everybody what went would have some popcorn. And they would buy these cups, like just regular drinking cups, to put the popcorn in so you could sit there and eat the popcorn. But also they would not stop there. They'd have gallon jugs of Kool-Aid, what they would mix up and take with them, and have cups to pour those in. So they wouldn't have to spend their money at the snack bar. I remember my uncle, I think hit the record for getting people into that car was 22 people in a station wagon. That's kind of like the circus when you see the little Volkswagen and all the clowns come out. But anyway, he wanted to see how many people he could pack in there to get in to the drive-in for $1. He wanted his dollar's worth. And my uncle was he was a crazy guy. He was just a lot of fun, and it just being around him he always was doing something. And I'll have a lot more stories about my uncle and what we did and everything coming up in the future on my story time. But he was just a barrel of fun. He was a real tall man. He was like 6'7" and weighed about 300 pounds, and he was always had a smile on his face. He was happy, and just nothing could ever get this guy down. And he reminded me a lot of my brother, which passed away, because my brother was the same way. The whole world could be going to crap, and he would still have a smile on his face. And I'm not like that. I'm take life, serious. I guess more serious than I should. But anyway, my uncle and my brother, they did it. And get back to the story. We were driving down the road. I remember my uncle was driving, my mother was in the front seat, and in the back seat, of course, we had us kids. And us kids, we ranged in sizes from like 2 years old on up. And I'd sit back there, and me and my brother would always sit back there on the tailgate in the very back, where that back latch was, what opened the door to the back. We'd sit back there, and my brother would sit here, and I would sit here, and then whoever would sit there. And there would always be, and I knew my brother, he would get sick at like the looks of a dirty diaper on a little kid. So of course there's always that little kid in there what didn't have any shirt on, and he was just in a diaper and walking around in the back or standing there or doing whatever. And I'd be sitting back against the back of that station wagon on the tailgate there, and there was a little kid, which I guess he was about 2 years old, and he had this diaper on what was drooping. And I told my brother, I said, you know what? I bet that baby's crapped his pants. And I said, that's why it's drooping so bad. And my brother, he can't deal with that. Whenever he had his kids, he couldn't change the diaper. And even when he was small, and like I was, if I was 9, he would have been 7. And I was making a comment on this. I said, just look at that diaper and everything. Because I wanted him to upchuck and throw up. He'd look at it, and all of a sudden he'd go, and finally he would throw up. Then pretty soon all the kids what was in back would be throwing up, and my mom would say, Leroy, stop the car, they're all puking back there. So he'd pull over to the side of the road, and I'd be sitting back there laughing and having myself a good old time, because I'm the one that caused it, of course. And then my mom would take me out, and I remember one time she took me by the arm and pulled me out of the car. took me around to the side, and here we're in the middle of practically nowhere. Took a belt from her purse and wore my behind out, then put me in the middle between her, my uncle, and I was sitting. My uncle was driving, I was here, and then there was my mom, and I was between them. And my mom would, whenever I like made a comment, she'd like slap me. I remember that. Those were good times. And so anyway, we'd get to the drive-in theater. My uncle would hand him that dollar with like pride. He was like, "There you go." And he had 22 people in the back. I mean, like, it was like crazy. And we'd go, he'd drive around, find a parking spot. Mom always said, "Get in there, snack bar, get in there, snack bar, because the bathroom's over there. You know, if we got to go to the bathroom, it's right there. We don't have to like walk a long way." And we'd have my grandmother with us. We'd have other people's grandmothers, and it was just a fun time. Anyway, when we got to the drive-in, we'd fling them car doors open and run to the playground. These drive-in theaters, most of them, would have a playground for the kids. Like they'd have the little merry-go-round, they'd have swing sets, them little teeter-totter deals, and we'd just spend time over there. And the grown-ups would be sitting back and watching the movie. And when we got tired, we'd go back to the car, find the car, and go back. And I remember Mom would give us the popcorn and give us some Kool-Aid, and we'd stand outside eating it, or sit on the car eating it, or sit on the ground, or what have you. But those are really fond memories, and somewhat what don't happen anymore because there's not that many drive-ins. I know the town I live in has one drive-in, and a lot of people goes to it, and it's not got the post no more where you take the speaker and, you know, turn the volume. You tune it in now to your radio. Like you have a radio and you tune it to a certain station, sit back, watch a movie, and it comes across your radio. If you have a good stereo system, then you know, surround sound or something. But these are just fond memories of way back when I was a kid, and good times we had. And it's just, I wanted to share it with you. And this is just, like I say, it's a fond memory, and somewhat what most people would never experience unless you lived, you know, during the time I lived. And nowadays, you just won't experience it. It just was a fun time. This is Skoggit. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, and speaking of my uncle, which is, he passed away sadly in the 90s. He died of a stroke in his 50s. And just a remarkable man. He was just a real good guy. Always a smile on his face, always willing to help anybody. And he was a damn good welder and mechanic too. And it just fond memory there. And I think back and on it, and sometimes just have a laugh about things what went on during that time. This is Skoggit, and appreciate all you viewers and subscribers out there. And I'll have more Storytime videos coming up, and y'all take care.